Jan, thanks. Here they come to the start. Two-time Olympic gold medalist Lily King driving the Corvette pace car away from the field. Four-time Olympic gold medalist Tamika Catchings of the WNBA's Indiana Fever has the green flag in hand atop the starter's stand. Turn 1, lap 1. Will it be a big story in the outcome of the race, or will they get through it clean? It's Will Power inside to the right side of the racetrack. Robert Wickens to the outside. We're coming down to start the month of May at Indianapolis.
Green, green, green.
Pagenaud in the neon car with a move, the squeeze into the corner. And Pagenaud's around. That's Jordan King off into the dirt as well in the 20 car.
But Pagenaud keeps his foot in it and does not get stuck in the sand. King really clobbered him hard.
Jordan King. And more cars off. Is that 21? Yeah, that's Spencer Piggott off in the other Ed Carpenter racing car. Disastrous first lap for them.
But a great lap for Power and Bourdais.
A big result, guys, of cold tires. Remember, the guys just got in the track, a couple of warm-up laps. Tires are not up to grip. And as you see, we call that also the kitty litter. Once you're in that, you don't get out, do you? Now watch what's going on here all the way down into turn 1. Everybody's jockeying for position.
Look how Bourdais just forced his way past him.
Around on the outside of the red car on the inside, that was obviously Wickens. But here, this is where everything starts to go away from each other.
Ooh.
So that's something.
That was Newgarden, I think, that got into the side of Pagenaud, made him check up.
Now watch this.
And then King got him from behind.
Top view is the best, but you can see with...
Can't really see from that angle.
With Pagenaud, looks like he started to come around. Looks like he clipped. But King, now watch here. Oh, there you go. Jordan King into the back of Pagenaud.
Now here's a look at the second incident at the chicane.
So he's just run out of room, goes over the chicane, in the air, lands, and has no control.
My goodness.
Yeah, turns 5 and 6.
Takuma Sato right there.
These things don't steer very well when you're up in the air.
Yeah, steering gets light, doesn't it? I mean, that could have been a lot worse. You know, in that instance there, he probably should have just tried to avoid the curb and go around the outside, but you try not to do that, Eddie, because you know that you incur a penalty. So it's really a tough situation to make a last-minute decision like that.
I'll tell you, who was really quick on his feet was Pagenaud. He was totally not expecting to be hit. He spun, kept his foot in it, and kept on rolling and got out. He's still in a position to do well today.
All right, here's the Castroneves on board. It was Elio that got squeezed wide here, and he's going to get pushed out, I believe, into Pagenaud, making Simon check up, and then Jordan King hit Simon.
You're absolutely right.
All of the Penske cars except for Pagenaud's this weekend are painted that identical silver Verizon color, and the only distinction between them is the pod on the top of the car are different colors and stripes on the sides of the car. So it was a little hard for me to tell, and I'll apologize to Joseph, whether that was Newgarden or Castroneves. All right, coming to the restart. On the gas is Will Power, and we're green at the Indianapolis Grand Prix.
Boy, Will always gets such a tremendous restart, doesn't he?
Bourdais could be under pressure from Wickens here.
But he's got the inside line. Wickens, look at this.
Let's see if he holds on. No, he lets him through. He doesn't. He holds on all the way around. Now he's got the advantage.
So gaining second place back, Robert Wickens. Here's Joseph Newgarden looking to the inside of Bourdais.
On the next corner, there is no room for two cars.
Bourdais smartly goes to the inside to try to defend this turn going into 7 here.
Well, it's also about the tire compounds that are on these two cars. Remember, there's two types of tire compounds in the Verizon IndyCar Series. By way of refresher, the red sidewalls, the softer tires, the alternate, if you will. The black sidewalls, the harder primary tires. The reds have been the preferred thing for everybody here. You'll be on those blacks as long as possible. Most of the teams started on the softer tires. Castroneves' strategist Roger Penske went for the alternate strategy of starting on the primary tire.
He's going to go down another right here. So what do you do in this case? Just keep running the blacks until you have an opportunity to come in?
Until you make your first pit stop. Everybody's got to run each compound at least once during the race. So are you going to do it? The pattern has been, the winner of this race the last 3 years has started on reds, put blacks on for the second stint, then went red, and that last set of reds was new, sticker reds. That's been the pattern. Trying something different is Roger Penske, and so we'll see how it works out.
Incredible.
Look at it, Scott Dixon. We've seen the first of the strategy plays. Dixon and company just on and off pit road. You see he's 51 seconds behind the leader, but he's on the lead lap. And so hoping to stretch some fuel, maybe catch a caution, steal a little track position. Rick?
I can tell you they were very frustrated all weekend long. In fact, yesterday, Scott, together with his engineer, Chris Simmons, were sitting on the wall after the final qualifying. They didn't even want to go back to the compound because they were so frustrated. The good news is, in the final warm-up, they found some things they were working better. As a result, he was the fastest guy in the final warm-up. Now, in a pit stop that made just a moment ago, they made a front wing adjustment, put on red tires, and he's back out, hoping to do well. Alan?
All right, Scott, thanks. Rick, thank you. Scott Dixon out there wheeling away, hoping now he can catch a little bit of luck. Get a caution flag before some of these front runners dive onto pit road. We expect to see that somewhere around laps 22 to 24. Will Power is the race leader.
The other thing I think we're seeing, Eddie, here also is a very even engine power plant
power
program
in the pits.
with power in the pits. The same with Wickens. Between the Honda and the Chevy, look to be about the same power, maybe the same fuel mods those guys are running.
So the two leaders head-to-head on the pit lane here. Bourdais goes into the top spot for now. Rick is first.
And Robert Wickens bringing the car in. They are going to put red tires back on. Even though he said before the race he likes the way the black tires drive, they're not going to do it just yet. Simple, easy pit stop. Come in, put more red tires on. No significant changes to the car, and they're going to send them back out. Jan?
And the choice for Will Power is scrub blacks. So we wait to see Wickens as he gets released to see that it's going to be close, but Will Power maintains his position ahead of Wickens, but with two different tire choices.
Now the red sidewall tires should come alive more quickly, but lose some of their speed more quickly.
Something came off Power's car, or either that or he drove over something.
So the chess match. Now remember, later in the race, Power's going to be clear to stay on the red tires all the way through the finish. Wickens is going to have to put those primary tires on at some point in the event. While this was going on, Alexander Rossi, who stayed on the racetrack, leaned all over that push to pass to try and get himself a gap on Newgarden and see if he could jump him on that in-lap. Meantime, Wickens is around Will Power on the red tires versus Power's blacks.
See Power now going towards the inside, trying to make the long way around for Robert Wickens. Was able to outbrake him with those stickier red tires almost a little bit easier. You can see they're already on the debris that's over there on the right-hand side, those marbles, and just makes the pass. Rick?
Following his times, Robert Wickens' times, he is amazingly consistent, Alan. His times have not deviated 1/10, and he is kind of schooling everybody right now. He is the fastest car in the field, and he continues.
All right, let's have a good one. Just nice smart here at the beginning. We got...
Rick, thanks. That's Castroneves by Hunter Ray to pick up 9th spot. So Hunter Ray fading a bit here in this stretch of the race. But again, what we're seeing today, the fascinating disparity between the two different tire compounds. Everybody was talking about at the end of practice yesterday and qualifications how a lot of people were really struggling for speed on the primary tire. Well, everybody's got to run them at least once in the race. For the people that are on them now, minimizing the amount of time that they lose till they can get back on the alternate tire, and then for the people that haven't yet run them, getting as much as they can and surviving the segment that they have to put the black sidewall tire on, speed comparative to the red sidewalls.
Well, just a moment ago, their team was talking to Robert Wickens. They said, how much longer can you stay out there? He says, well, I can stay out here a long time, but it's just getting worse and worse as I go. A moment ago, they came on the radio, said, not too much longer.
Can't be that bad. He just did a 12.5, and Power did a 12.3. 3.
That lap 40 number is about when the winner has pitted for his second stop in each of the last few years. Now, Wickens went from running right behind Will Power to stretching out a 4.9 second gap while Wickens is on the reds and Power's been on the blacks this segment. Expect Wickens will have to go to the black sidewall tires here. So we'll see how this all shakes out in the next segment of the race between the two.
Let's remember that the track now has a lot more rubber on it than it did when they were first testing yesterday in qualifying. So the track has changed, and the temperatures are lower than they were yesterday.
Now watch how hard he drives the pit lane. I was watching him in practice here the other week.
I noticed that.
He just doesn't leave.
Now watch when he brakes.
Yeah. He doesn't waste any time whatsoever.
No, he is definitely the real deal.
Power goes by. Bourdais comes onto the pit lane. Rick
Going to blacks.
Well, Alan, as you said, he has to go to black sooner or later. They're going to do it on this particular stop. But in talking with Wickens yesterday, he feels that he's done almost as well on the black tires as he had on the red tires. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. Nice, clean stop, no adjustments, he's away.
All that, of course, shaken up if the caution flag should come out.
I would wager that the Penske crew are going to give him a slight advantage on a little bit quicker pit stop.
Long way down the pit lane to where the 12 car is at 50 miles an hour. Graham Rahal is going to assume the lead with this Will Power stop. The tear off out the window. And the signboard waving for the 12.
And typically, if we are going to see a car go from the black primaries to the reds, look for a front wing change as well, because typically you want to change the balance of the car a little bit. This is an important stop for Will Power. A little bit slow on the right front, but still very nice stop. Anytime you're under 8 seconds, that's a job well done.
All right, so there comes Wickens by as Power's still coming off the pit lane speed limiter. And that's the gap that he'll now have to make up that essentially he lost in that last run of the race. Now the advantage Wickens has had on Power, remember it was 5 seconds after the, or just before the pit stop. There's Power closing, it's down to just 1.6.
What tire is Power on? Power is on used reds. Has just left pit lane on used reds. He is behind. This stint should be about the same length as the last one, mate. You can use these tires as hard as you can.
So that's probably a little bit different, Scott, than what he told him when he had reds on.
Welcome back to the IndyCar Grand Prix, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Just like that, new leader Will Power is around Robert Wickens. He has eaten him up and gone by during that break for our local stations. And let's show you how it happened. The exchange was, well, it was worth the wait. That's coming out of the final turn onto the front stretch here at the Speedway. And Power's on the push to pass.
Push to pass, he lines him up. Wickens defends on the inside. Now the only thing Wickens can do is to go as deep as possible, but if he does, he's going to run into him. But he hangs onto it coming out of here. Now watch going into the next corner. He dives on the inside and almost gets around him again. And then it's bye-bye Wickens.
But that's a difficult turn to try to make that pass on when he tried to retaliate, because if you don't get it done, it goes onto a long straightaway, and then the driver in front usually gets a bit of a gap, and that's exactly what Will Power's done.
This is how you do it. This was beautiful racing. And I don't think this battle is over. Wickens is at a disadvantage with his blacks. Power had an advantage with his reds. Let's hope we get to see this again. And I think Power is going to have more than that 5-second advantage that Wickens had earlier.
So really the fight now for Robert Wickens is to minimize the loss of time to Will Power until he can get down pit road, get on the other tires, maybe catch a break with a caution flag, we'll see. But right now Wicks, easy for me to say, is seeing that 12 car disappear.
And just to further expand on the tires, when the red tires are on your car as a driver, you have that little bit of extra grip. You feel more confident under braking, as we're going to watch Joseph here try to make the move. Great work by Sebastian going ahead and taking away the inside line. Here we go.
Yeah. You know what? That's just probing. That's probing and irritating the car that's in front of you.
You were good at that.
There's none of those things that he's doing will stick unless he can get more of a run. I'm like right here. Again.
Braking zone. Newgarden over the curve and around. And he's going to throw fourth place aside, trying to make that move stick.
And who does this play into?
Right now it plays into Rossi's hands.
They're running.
As far as the championship is concerned, now
I think he's
full
stalled.
course yellow. And yes,
We have a brand new race. We're
Robert
right back.
Wickens says thank you.
Yep. Let me get off these blacks and give me some reds. I don't know if he can take reds now, though.
Now for Joseph, he's trying to get in there, but he sees that he's gone a little bit too deep up over the curbing. Now Sebastian Bourdais was very professional, left him room to get out of it, but unfortunately as large as that curbing is, up and over he goes. Now if this curbing was the same size as some of the other turns that are on the racetrack, he wouldn't have got the car launched. Risk-reward ratio going over that curb didn't pay off.
Stops here with 27 laps to go. We'll start with Rick de Brule.
And we'll start with Robert Wickens. He brings the car in. They made it very clear to him they're putting on red tires, but they also told him they're going to go into fuel-saving mode from this point on, and they told him to keep his wits about him on pit lane. Jan?
Yes, and of course, all the leaders on pit road, including Will Power. It's a very quick stop, but here comes Wickens. It's side-by-side battle down the pit exit.
Both
Power
at the pit road speed limiter. Now they're off, and Power's got it.
And look who is P3.
But save a lot of fuel.
Scott
How in
Dixon.
the heck did he get to P3?
Well, it started back in 10th place. They found some speed in the car in the morning warm-up this morning, but also worked the strategy.
Early on, very
Yes.
early on
He
fuel.
was on pit road back at lap 13, looking to take advantage of some things. And so circumstances for this finish. Everybody pitted at the outside of the range of making it to the finish by saving a lot of fuel. Now they're going to get one more lap to go and then turn them loose to go racing. Question is, how much of a save mode will they be in, and how much of an attack mode will they be able to be in? What do you think, Jan?
Well, I think it's going to be super safe mode if you think there'll be no more cautions. This, as you say, is right outside of the window of what you can do when you're in the fuel save mode. And very interestingly, with Will Power leading, he told me in one of our conversations this weekend, their intel, they believe that Honda can make a little better fuel economy than they can. So he knows he has Robert Wickens behind him with a Honda. He, of course, is driving a Chevrolet, and that's got to be in his mind as he gets that fuel number. Again, if there's a caution and they say yellow breeds yellow, then it all goes out the window. They'll be okay. But right now, in case you need to make it to the end, you need to save fuel, and in my opinion, you got to be really careful about using that push to pass button.
I'd like to add one wrinkle to that. Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon is the master at going fast and not using fuel. I mean, he's come out of nowhere with great strategy to find himself in third position. So maybe he will be the guy that gains with this fight between Power and Robert Wickens.
Here they come to the restart.
Yourself, Dixon, Bourdais, Rossi, Hinchcliffe. Everybody's on the same strategy, mate. Everybody's going to have to save fuel.
24 laps to go at the restart. Will Power hits the gas. Wickens stays right with him. Here we go.
Much better restart for Wickens this time.
Nice clean start.
IndyCar did run the sweeper around the course to pick up some of those marbles for that braking zone into turn one especially. Down here as well, good conditions for the drivers to go. Question is, how hard can they go with the fuel situation being what it is?
You have to be efficient in everything you do. You can't brake too late. You have to roll into the corner, and you have to make those numbers on your computer, and your engineers will be telling you what numbers you have to make. But at the same time, you have to make sure cars don't pass you, which is almost mission impossible.
Ed Jones, we hear, has a flat tire, and he's on pit road to get him changed.
Putting on sticker blacks tells you they probably had that last set of reds, so they don't longer have any red tires to put on, so he's going to end up with a car that's going a little slower than everybody else.
3 wide, Newgarden trying to make up some lost ground. He'll get around Marco Andretti. Now Hunter Ray with a peek at his Andretti Autosport teammate. So here and there's a couple of raindrops at a couple of spots on the course. Why not? We had a lot of other things into the mix today in this IndyCar Grand Prix. Will Power out in front, tied for second in the history of Team Penske for IndyCar wins with the Rocket Man that we heard from earlier, Rick Mears, when Dr. Jerry Punch interviewed him. You know, this story of this season for Power has been an inability to have a clean race. You think about it, had the turn 1 spin at St. Petersburg when he was racing for the lead. The contact at Phoenix after he led the most laps in the race. The crash in the heavy rain on Sunday at Barber. The only clean race he's had this year was at Long Beach, and he finished in second place. So a clean race today so far for the driver of that 12 car for Team Penske. You see the numbers on the season. His championship standing has taken a beating through the first couple of months of this season. But trying to begin the process of rebuilding that here at Indianapolis, and a win today would be a good start on it.
In all of those races, he has had one thing though. He's always been fast. He's always been competitive. In luck, it comes and goes. Today, it looks like he is in a really good position.
So to your point, Alan, there must be raindrops now landing on the shield. We've had that before, getting behind those tear-offs, as you're mentioning, Eddie. So it's actually distorting his view. So there must be some more rain coming down than we're actually even seeing.
But the times have not slowed down, Alan.
No,
they're doing an 11.4.
It's drops. Do those drops turn into something more in these final 9 laps of the race becomes the question. I was watching our local ABC affiliate here in Indianapolis, RTV6. The meteorologist said they expected the weather to stay north of the Speedway until later on this evening. And it's been raining out there north of here all day long. Like Chicago's gotten a soaking at various times today on the radar. Long ways back to Robert Wickens in third now. 6.4 seconds back of the leader is the driver who has led the second most laps in this race, Wickens.
Gap to Rossi is now 0.5. Target remains 3.9.
There is no way these guys in front of me are getting 3.9.
Okay.
Talking about fuel numbers here, so go fast and make fuel.
It's not really a negotiation. He's going to see if they are or they aren't in about 7 laps. Because right now you have to make 7 laps to finish this race. So we're going to find out who's bluffing and who's not bluffing. It's like a poker game. At some point you have to put your cards on the table.
So we watch to see any signs of a bobble, any hiccups that might shuffle the running order.
He's not slowing down. He just did an 11.9.
Yep.
This is a man that has a lot of confidence that he has fuel left.
So the white flag waves at Indianapolis.
Run
Over
hard.
Will Power.
Keep your eyes on Will and see if he bobbles.
I think that was Mike Hull I heard saying run hard, message to Dixon if I heard that correctly. So it'll be interesting to see. Means get up there, get close, so if Will Power has a bobble anywhere, you can take advantage.
Pretty good fight for 4th and 5th place in this last lap, as well as Rossi is trying to find a way to do something with Bourdais. Wickens is clear of them by a second, but there's the gap, 1st to 2nd. Does Will Power have enough fuel to get around to the checkered flag without Scott Dixon catching him?
His last lap, Alan, was 1 second slower than the lap before.
Final corners coming up here.
A textbook drive, guys. That is amazing. Great job for Will Power.
Fell behind at a point in the race, kept after it, came back around, and the checkered flag for the 3rd time in 5 years for Will Power in the IndyCar Grand Prix.
Whoa, good job, boys. Oh my God.
Roger, a lot of major milestones in your career, but today, 200th IndyCar win. How special is this for you?
Well, I'll tell you, to do it here in Indianapolis is terrific. And Power did a great job. The strategy was right. The guys have done a good job. This gives us tremendous momentum going into the 500.
You know, looking at Will Power, he was a man possessed today. He would not give up, even on some of the black tires. How would you describe his overall performance?
Well, I think it was world class when you think about having to make fuel at the end, staying ahead of Wickens, staying ahead of the best guy in the business, Scott Dixon. So what a great day for the team.
Remember now, 16 of his 200 victories have come in the Indy 500, and that's the one he really wants coming up in a couple of weeks.
And Will, before this race started, you said, I just really need to have a great race. And you had a race where you had to manage fuel, you had to manage tires, a little bit of everything, and be patient when Wickens was ahead. How gratifying for you to pull this off?
Yeah, it was an amazing race, actually. Obviously Wickens came out on reds when I was on blacks, and man, I've never driven so hard to watch a gap grow. But obviously when I went to the reds, then I had to try pass him back, and then we had to save a lot of fuel at the end and go fast, because I knew how good Dixon is at saving fuel and going fast. But the Chevy had great fuel mileage, and man, I've never driven so hard for an entire race. Like, I was 100% the whole time. Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Well, not only gratifying for you, but gratifying for the team. You may be aware this is the 200th IndyCar win for Penske. 30 of those are yours now. How much, from a team perspective, that you've added that number to the 200?
Yeah, it's amazing. It just shows what sort of team Penske is, and it's a real honor to drive for Roger, and you give him the equipment week in, week out to win. So I can't thank him enough for the opportunity he's given me, and Verizon as well. It's been a real fantastic 10 years.
Okay, we can't stand in this area and look around without talking about the 500 coming up. How much confidence? I know completely different discipline, but when you're on a roll, how much does this give you going into the Indy 500 knowing that you've got this confidence?
It's great. I mean, it's great for the whole team. You know, all the guys on my car, myself, get some momentum. It's been a bit of a slow start, so yeah. I remember last time I won this race, I finished second in the 500 in 2015, and I felt good all month, so see if I can go one better.
All right, Will Power, a little bit of everything today, a very gratifying performance. Rick?
Well, here's the guy who finished second. You know, normally guys who finish second are a little bummed out because they want to win, but this has to be an amazing finish for you, considering you started 18th and you weren't happy with this car. What happened?
Yeah, definitely credit to the team. You know, everybody in the PNC Bank car has been working extremely hard. We've had, definitely a rough start to the season, a rough, weekend here. But credit to Chris and Mike and Hannah and everybody on the stand that we had a good strategy day, man. There was a period there on one stint where we were just like almost 2 seconds left quicker than everybody, just pounding out a new set of tires when everybody else was on blacks, and we must have made up almost 20 seconds just on that one stint. So, great to be finally on the podium this year. It's been a rough start. We've had some good speed, but really proud and happy for PNC Bank, and hopefully we can get that one stop better here in the next couple of weeks.
Now, you were saying that even if you'd had a little extra fuel, you didn't think you had anything for Will at the end. Explain.
Yeah, I was a little surprised they got the fuel mileage they did. They've made big gains on that, I think. But I was pushing as hard as I could. The car balance was probably a little loose in traffic, and the harder I pushed to try and close the gap each time on Will, it would just burn the rears off, and I'd kind of have to back off for a bit and try and go again. And it was a bit of that cycle, so I couldn't close that gap that we had. But proud of Honda, everybody this weekend, and hopefully we can start to set sail and make some championship points here.
All right, Scott Dixon finished his second. That is his first podium of the year. Doc?
How about another impressive performance by rookie Robert Wickens? Third top 5 in 5 races, and your first Grand Prix of Indy. Take us through those final laps. How tough was it on you as a rookie to be able to have to save fuel?
Yeah, it's first time in my career I've had to save fuel like that, but a little bit gutted, but really happy that we didn't run out of fuel. The whole time they were giving me a number, and I wasn't able to hit it, and they're like, we need this, and I'm like, I'm trying, I'm just not getting the number, and then we had to go even past that because I wasn't able to save enough at the beginning. And anyway, it was a stressful afternoon. I was really happy in the first couple stints, and then that final one there with the fuel save kind of blew it all wide open.
How tough was it to be on the black sidewalls and looking in your mirror and knowing that Will Power is running you down with the reds, with the alternates, and you looked like you were using as much racetrack as you could use?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good hard fight. I mean, even on the contrary, on the first stint there when I was on reds and he was on blacks, we fought hard, but it was fair. And I always like to give people the same respect that they give me, and he gave me more than enough space, so I felt I kind of had to do the same thing. But it was a great race. Just unfortunately, I was hoping to have a bit more pace there on the blacks to maybe hold them off a bit longer, but it just didn't happen.
Top 5 today. Good luck in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
How about this young man? Impressive rookie, Alan, and the big one, the Indy 500, coming up in 2 weeks. You can already see the excitement in his eyes.
Here are the final results of today's IndyCar Grand Prix, with Will Power coming out on top.
You know, it's very impressive with this, guys. There's 5 different teams in the top 5 there. I says one by Chevy, and then the Hondas follow in, but shows you how even the IndyCar Series is right now, with 5 different teams taking up the first 5 spots.
Yeah, but those first 5 spots, they're both Penske, aren't they?
Joseph Newgarden coming back from that incident where he was racing 4th, spun, went back to 21st. He hangs on to the championship lead barely over Alexander Rossi by rallying for that 11th place finish, as we get ready to turn our attention to oval track action here. And the captain, as well as team president Tim Cindric, coming in to congratulate their driver, Will Power, who was today's winner. Well, now that he's gotten back from where his car ran out of fuel around to the pit lane, Jan's been able to catch up with Alexander Rossi.
All right, well, it's actually Rick down here with Alexander Rossi, but it's close enough. Let's talk to Alex about the fact that, yes, this morning after the warm-up, you really weren't too optimistic. What changed?
You're right. I was pretty concerned after this morning. For some reason, the 27 Nap Auto Parts Honda, we just were losing pace as each kind of run went on, through nothing more than just car balance. So it was a little bit of a mystery to us, and you know, it's very fortunate to be on a 4-car team here. So we were able to go to Ryan's setup, and the 28 car probably saved our weekend. So big shout out to them for the team effort, and yeah, it was a good recovery. It's disappointing that we couldn't finish 4th. I think we had opportunity to save fuel in that stint, and we just didn't make it happen. So we need to look into that, but overall good recovery by the whole team.
All right, we are standing here underneath the pylon that just a couple of years ago had your number at the top of the Indy 500. Has your mind already shifted to that 500?
As of about 15 minutes ago, absolutely. I was thinking as they were towing me in, this is familiar, but way less cool. So yeah, I'm very excited to get to work on Tuesday. You know, I've been very fortunate to have such good cars here, so I look forward to getting to work and hopefully fighting to go 2 out of 3.
All right, once again, Alexander Rossi finished 5th. Pretty impressive. That's his 20th top 10 finish.
We're going to come back for French.
How about Sebastian Bourdais? And Sebastian, laps winding down. They tell you you're really close on fuel, and you're on the push to pass. What's that about?
Just save this next strat a little bit more. They just, you know, gave me a number that I had to, I guess, you know, meet just to be able to use the push to pass at the end, because they thought I might need it, and I was saving, you know, a couple of tenths here and there more than I needed to, just in case, because I was far enough at that point, and then there was a bit of traffic, and they started to fight each other, and I think they overconsumed a bit on fuel, and that kind of caught them out at the end. They had to back off quite dramatically, so we started closing real quick, and it wasn't quite enough to get weekends at the end, but yeah, definitely a good day for the Steelmaster Honda number 18.
Hey, well done, Seb.
Thank you.
By the way, he gained 2 spots on the push to pass, Alan, and he ran out of fuel as he was taking the checkered flag. It quit about 100 yards past the checkered flag.
Couldn't have planned it better. Bourdais finishing 4th. He's 3rd in the championship, 26 points behind Joseph Newgarden, who leads Alexander Rossi by 2. And that becomes irrelevant now as we turn our attention to the Indianapolis 500, because it's all about the trophy.